always liked libraries. Or I liked the idea of being the kid who likes libraries. I'm not sure which the case was. But growing up in Saudi Arabia, I was often nagging my parents to take me to Jarir Bookstore, the largest bookstore chain in the country. It was also one of the only places in the country which allowed people to pick up books and read for hours on end. I liked reading cross-legged on their grey carpeted floor with my abaya opened down the middle to allow some flexibility. No wonder my sisters found me embarrassing. Then when I moved to Ethiopia in late 2014 and joined the Ethiopian Institute of Architecture, Building Construction and City Development, a year later, I was enchanted by the library in there. The floors were not carpeted, so they weren't comfortable to sit on. But the library there indulged another fetish of mine, the smell of old books. Some of the books were so old, I think I found a now explosive racial slur in one of them. But hey, there are two problems with old books. You can find a dead bug in one of their pages, you don't know which, and they can be really dusty, and I think I'm allergic to dust. But over the years I spent in campus, some books stood out to me most. I have to admit that I'm especially biased to books with attractive cover designs. And while I can't know whether you'll ever read these books, most people don't. I've taken some valuable stuff from them, and here's a list of those books. Book number 1, Drawing Ideas. This book is like one of the most visually stunning books that I found in the library. I mean, just look at it from the beginning. It's just the way the titles are written, the way the sketches come along, and then a lot of the things that they try to communicate in the book, which is how to communicate effectively through sketches and through drawings, and how to come up with different forms of self-expression, ways to turn your ideas into something more. It's just illustrated through the book layout itself. So you have these different sections, and they even show you how to, the different methods that you can use to create the art forms illustrated while illustrating the book itself through the art forms they talk about. So you have these lovely, lovely, lovely sketches. And then you have this how to make sketchbooks part. You have the technicals. We learned this in school, but they kind of show more details, I think, and more options on how to make it look more professional. And you see the chapters as they go along, just having this grid-like format. They have this comic book thing going on too, which is, I love that. And you see how every page is just, you don't know what you expect. I feel like a 5-year-old, I would be excited about this at any age. I mean, you see how they draw the mannequins, how they draw little figures, how they have more illustrations than writing. So I can't even say I read this book. Then you have how they do maps. So you have these wonderful just colors that they use. I don't know how they can use so many colors without it being like bad, chaotic. It's just, it must have taken a lot of attention to detail. And by the way, I really like this blue. Yeah, I love this blue. And so it just keeps going and it keeps amazing me. I don't think I've sat down and read all the text on every page, but just look at that, man. So yeah, definitely find this book in your library, hopefully, and just look at how they deal with shapes, how they use line weights, pencil types, different tools, hand done things over digital work. And it's just, I think it would be really enlightening to just help you work with your hands in general, not just in 2-dimensional form, but then in more, yeah. The second book, Design with the Other 90% Cities, is a book that I think I found in maybe my second, third year, and the next 2 books or so go along the same kind of vein, which is pretty much about doing relevant architecture, helping humans from who are more economically weak or who have problems planning their houses or neighborhoods, just places designed for slum dwellers and the third world. So this one is, as we can see, there's so many projects They're just simple, intelligent ideas knitted together kind of work instead of this big genius design thing. And it's very much more narrative. There's pictures of the people affected by the design, some of the contexts it's designed in, so we can see the I guess you can kind of see that. And this one goes along the same vein. It's called Design Like You Give It Damn. I love this book title, and the designs in the cover are like, one of them is a South African project. I think the other one is in Rio. So I've given a presentation about this book. I really like the colors and the way they came up with the layout, and this one is much more detailed than the previous book. And there's so many projects here that we learned from, so many. So the statistics are given, the math is given as to why something works. The designs, as you can see, some really simple sketches and like the final prototypes versus those are done. And we have this, I think, the Bangladeshi design, which survives floods. Like it's a floating house, basically. It's just crazy. It's called a lift house. You should probably Google it. And then we have other housing solutions in other parts of the world with just all sorts of materials like sandbags, which we've used, by the way. And, I mean, yeah, that's the sandbag house in South Africa. They just kind of painted it, and we will see it in the book Elemental too, because I think it's featured. So we have these just different, even elements, urban planning elements, not just houses here. This one's inspired by spinal cord, and you have the people who influenced this specific plan in this book. I am talking really random. Oh, this house, this is the Green School in Bali. So this is, it's a bamboo made house in Bali, and I think it was an important case study for several students in my school. And this is a bridge school, which is literally like a bridge, except it's a school also made with materials that aren't really messy for the environment. So, and then again, like I said, there's a lot of math thrown in there. So this book is a holistic thing instead of just architecture based. There's other services, other environmentally friendly or energy sustaining designs featured, not just buildings. So we have more statistics thrown in there, policies that accompany it. We have some crazy designs, actually. Yeah, I barely remember them too. And we have some plans, but we don't have too many of them. Do you see the color though? It's such a cute book. And then it's just snug into that. I just love those little pockety things that they have. Yeah, I kind of borrowed this book several times over the years, yeah. And next we have Elemental, which is our book by Alejandro's firm. So this is a Chilean architect's firm. I first found out about him through the TED Talk. Honestly, I have barely read this book. I kind of just went through some of the projects, used others for my case studies, and we're gonna just run through it really quickly because it's just, it's a cool book, I guess. So the main highlight of this book to me is this house, this 2-story house, which is basically half of a good house. People complete it as they earn more money to somehow construct the part of their houses that are not finished. So instead of giving them like big houses that don't work well, or this is by the way for low cost, low income houses in Chile. So instead of giving them houses that they can't afford or something, they just build the essential parts of the house, half a good house, and let them complete the other half of the house over time. So Alejandro explains this really well in his TED Talk, and to me that's the highlight of the project. And even though there are other smart designs along the way, and several of us have used this idea over that. The half a house, as you can see, half a good house instead of a small house, because we want to still accommodate that standard of living that people who live in the middle of the city who need to get relocated have. Another book that really helped me and my friends throughout our course is this local book. It's not really a local book, but I know one of the architects who worked on this. He's one of the founders of my campus. It's called Building Ethiopia, as you've seen, and it features some of the projects they've been working on. Now, one important note here is that this is kind of an ongoing project that seeks to develop several town designs all over Ethiopia for different contexts within the country for the very rapid urbanization problem or urbanization rate happening in the country. So it features solutions from material innovation to urban planning innovations or urban planning designs. So we see several crazy designs all over this book, and several modernist, as we can see, container designs. This is made using shipping containers. This is right in our campus, by the way. Like, it's really cold, but it's really cool to be inside and just look at everywhere, and it's made of containers. So yeah, we have that in this book among many other projects. And I think a lot of the books I talk about are future projects. This model also we have in our school, in our campus. So this book kind of fed my campus and vice versa. So yeah, I think it means a lot in the library. Other honorable mentions I don't want to leave out include books like Happy City. And I really liked this book, but I couldn't really finish it because I was slow and I had to return it back to the library. And another book is Naked City. I barely started that book many years ago, so I don't even remember what it was about. But I don't even know if I should recommend it. These are just the books I can remember. So, yeah. So kids, what I'll tell you is seek truth, don't settle for bad tea, and harass your librarians. Just keep their jobs like very hard. I'm just kidding, just ask them a lot of questions and look for books in your area. It's done me more good than not over this time that I spent on Earth.